All right, so interesting things. Not anything like crazy, but just interesting things, right? So been getting good rest. I think a lot of energy coming through. Human resonance decided to finally stop delaying the fact that we're rising and let us see the graphs. And as far as like the fasting, I'm still going strong with that. Have a couple of dreams here and there of attempts at covenants and feedings or whatever, but like I said, I just keep repeating the same thing and keep sealing it that no more of that happening in the dreams with the eating and drinking, and just keep repeating it every single day, and a lot of prayer throughout the day, trying to pray at least 3 times a day, at least an hour for each time that I do it. So just like randomly, like, I don't know, like I just have moments, right? I already told you my own situation. So I was really just thinking about, okay, like we have to be leaving this place. And I've told you guys, and I've done videos about how this whole town is like this one big Truman Show where a lot of the houses are abandoned, or there are a lot of houses that like no one lives in. There might be some that people live in, but there's a lot that no one lives in. Okay. And besides that, so I was thinking, because I know in Barcelona sometimes people live in commercial spaces, which in France might be even easier, because I mean, obviously I don't know if that's allowed or not, probably not, obviously, but what I'm trying to say is in Spain it's harder, even though people do it, because if you need to show like, or you need proof of something, you need to do what we call empadron, like a certificate that shows where you live. You can't do that if you're living in a local or a commercial space, where in France you don't really need to show this kind of proof. You just basically just show like a water bill or something like that, just to show that you have like someplace or an address. So, and keep in mind, there are many people who, if they have their commercial centers, like you could sleep in it, you could do whatever you want, right? So listen to this, right? So just like randomly, I was like looking, and I saw one in the town, and it was a really good price for 48 like meters, I don't know how you say it, whatever, square meters. They had it for like 370, right? And it's just like a space. And like, also, this is not the first time I've even rented a space. I rented a space, I remember when I first arrived in Barcelona. Then I tried to rent a space to do classes in English and do stuff like that. And there was always stuff that came up that like tried to like mess up that progress, right? When I was in Barcelona. So I just was like looking at one. Mind you, I don't even know if I really like it. I'm just looking in the picture, but I said, okay, that's a price that maybe I can like pull off and do it, right? And like rent the space. But you know how the simulation is, right? Always trying to be like tracking and everything you're doing. Mind you, I was looking at that, let's say that ad at like after work hours for this agency online. It was like around 6 or something like this. Before the morning arrived, like, and I said I was going to go in person. Before the morning even arrived, the announcement was taken off. I had like told and like thought about it and looked at the picture, whatever, just to show you how that works. So, but when I got to the place, I'm saying, I don't care if they took down the announcement. By the time I went to the place and I got there, it was like 10, and I think they opened at 9, and it was as if they were already like getting a debrief, because when I walked in, although this is the real world, they already looked like they were like they know you, right? Like this weird uncanny thing, like as if they know you and they're like, oh no, she's here, that kind of thing. So they had scurried to take down the announcement, basically, is what I'm trying to tell you, in advance, to make it look like it was sold or whatever. I passed by the property, it's there, and like when I actually looked at it, because I saw which one it was afterwards when we left, and it per se, maybe I wouldn't even have liked it that much, but I'm just saying, for the price and everything like this, even if I didn't want it to live, it would have been like a nice thing that you can use it to rent. But somebody in I don't know how many hours, the one that could have been possible that I could have rented, like went rushing to make sure that supposedly, according to them, that it was rented last night. That's what they said. That's what they told me. I'm like, so they rented it like in one day, like last night, because I saw this ad was still there in the evening, and they were like, no, yes, like all of this. And then they tried to, and this is what you watch in the Matrix, they tried to defer me to going down the block. There's another place down there for $650, and I was like, $650, I'm not gonna pay $650. And always pay attention to that in the Matrix, how like you're planning on one thing, they scurry and they try to make sure you don't get that, but then they try to like send you to some BS, right? But I said, let me just double check it. Let me just double check what they said. So I call that one, and he gives us the appointment to go see it this morning. So that I'm gonna see. So I tell my daughter, because I've been making her come with me everywhere, because I'm like, you need to open your eyes and see the stuff that I'm seeing, because you have to see and pick up the signs. So we go early in the morning, right? And I already know I'm not going to rent anything for $650. So that was out of the question. But I just want to go and just see, because I think it's a good practice. It's like manifestation, like you're going, you're looking at places, whatever. So I go to the place. The guy is already there, across the street from the place, talking loud, okay, acting all jittery, straight parasitic behavior. I turned to my daughter, I said, like, he's already parasitic, like you can see it from a distance. He's all like, because they're on this whole other like jumpy, like very busy, I don't know, they're on this other kind of energy. And he's talking loud, and I'm just kind of blocking him out anyways, because I can just, I don't know how to explain it to you, like I can just block him out by now, like not that I don't hear them saying stuff, but if I want to, I just choose not to listen to them. So they're just like, he's just there and he's just talking, and then he's acting weird. And I even tell my daughter, isn't that weird? Like, he knows the appointment's at 10:30. He's across the street acting like he's on this like super important phone call, which is probably the Matrix. I tell you that that's what they do. And he just opens the location, and then he goes back across the street to be talking like as if he's on the phone, like doing this big important talk. And we're walking around, we're looking at the place, and I'm just looking at the place, and it's not really like, I mean, number one, they have like a whole sign outside that says, I'm just looking at the place just to see what it looks like, whatever. And I even go, and we go, and we're like, oh look, there's windows in this one to the back. And then I see that it's like a backyard behind the place, and I see like chairs there, but we can't access the backyard. And I just could just imagine all the Sims like sitting back there. Like I could just, for everything I've been through, I could just imagine people coming and simming behind there. You know what I mean? And I just, use it as a practice. So I asked the guy, so what are the conditions? What are that? I was like, how do you pay with the bills? So he's like, yeah, it's 2 months deposit. I'm like, but you're an agency? He's like, no, I'm a property owner. So that's something that I'm not really fond of, considering my residency situation. I know it's not going to be like that easy, but the fact that like he's another private property owner, the same, it's going to be like the same situation like the apartment that I'm in now, and the same exact situation. I said, how does it work as far as the bills? I was like, he's like, yeah, you pay the electric bill, but for the water bill you pay me, which is the same situation that I have in the apartment that I'm in now, where the owner turned off the water and like and did all these shenanigans, right? So it's just like, oh no, that's already a no. But I mean, it was no from just watching his demeanor, like from outside arriving, and how they act like they have like ants all over their pants, and like whoever they're talking to, their Lord and Master Yaldabaoth, I guess, they're just like, like that's all I can like. You like, it's as if like you are like so calm and just watching, and they're like freaking out and like doing crazy weird stuff and talking loud and doing all this stuff. So I was just like, whatever. Then we come back, and again, the same way I showed you, like in this neighborhood, there's a lot of places that are like homes that are like closed down. Mind you, there's homeless people around here with no houses. Then all of the commercial spaces that are around here, it's the same thing. It's like they're not for sale, they're not for rent, and they're just there, and they're closed down, like with soot behind the windowsills. I should do a video of that one too, around the neighborhood, so that you can see how many locations are around, because I want to know when tourists come around here, when the sim tourists come around here, that they always like to be popping up in our view. I want to know, what are they really looking at, because all of the different stores are basically abandoned. It's like a ghost town, right? So many things that it could be put to use and is not being used. And then the same thing with the buildings in this area. There's no park in this area for kids to play in, like just a decent like ride a bike kind of park. None of that, when there's big spaces where it can be done. Then on top of that, the houses, like I said, if you have a situation and you go to a social worker, they'll tell you like, no, there's no housing around here. You have to go all the way to Montpellier. You have to go to Béziers. You have to go to like these big, huge cities, when there are all these abandoned buildings that the mayor or the governor could actually take, rehabilitate, and then use them for people in this town, that you shouldn't have to go to a completely different district. Just like absurdities like that. But anyways, just absurdities like that. I'm just taking it easy and just watching everything unfold.